Hey guys, Avilo here, bringing you Metagame update number 20. I got some creative juices flowing right now, so I thought I would record this immediately before the thoughts leave my brain. What is this one going to be about? This one's going to be about a current issue that is breaking the fucking game, needs to be fixed right now. TvP guys, TvP, Terran vs. Protoss, early game, Terran vs. Protoss. The matchup is actually fundamentally broken right now, and you've not only heard me legitimately complain about it and analyze, what the problem is. Other players have said the same. Other pro Terrans and stuff. You've seen the issues. Nobody else is gonna say anything because they're too fucking pussy to. So I'm gonna say everything for them. So what is the problem here, guys? What is First of all, Heart of the Swarm beta. Shortly after the beta, myself, other players, we tried to let Blizzard know, hey, Mothership Core, it's a little bit broken against Protoss. The Nexus Cannon allows too much greed. Protoss can't die in the first 10 minutes. What did they do? They did nothing. They said, well, the medevacs are really good, so we're going to leave the Nexus Cannon like it is. Turns out that was a terrible idea, because people can deal with medevacs quite easily nowadays. So, let me get to the heart of the issue. I've said it, everybody that watches my stream, which is a lot of people now, but everybody that watches, you guys have heard me explain this before. If you guys are new to this, a lot of other people, they're like, Terran vs. Protoss, this is so hard. Why is this so hard? So here's the main thing, guys. The Terran player does not have any options. It cannot hide information, whereas the Protoss player has 20 bajillion different options and can hide that information. It's like you're playing poker, you're playing Texas Hold'em poker, and you're playing with your hand face up, and your opponent's hand is face down. And you don't know what their cards are. They know what your cards are every single game. And that's like, or it's like, I've made the analogy, Terran vs. Protoss early game is like Minesweeper right now in the opening part of the game. As the Terran player, when you start the game in the opening, trying to figure out what what one base all-in is this guy doing, or what two base all-in even, that's what, at the beginning of a game of Minesweeper, when you have to first click on the boxes and you don't know where any of the mines are. That is Terran vs. Protoss early game in a nutshell. It's completely luck-based oriented. There's the possibility as a Terran player to lose the game in 10 minutes. Just outright lose the game. The game's over. The Protoss, he got DTs in your base, you didn't have a turret, you're dead. He flew an Oracle in, you didn't have a turret, or you didn't have 6 Marines, you're dead. He proxied Gateway, or he does the Zealot Stalker Mothership Core Rush. You could take a lot of damage. You could just flat out die to that. I've seen pro gamers die to that. To the 10-10 gate rush. And that's stuff that, you can't scout right away. So, how many ways are there for Terran to go Protoss? Let me think. There are none. And that's the fucking problem. That is the imbalance. Protoss itself, Terran versus Protoss itself, as a matchup, I would say is actually pretty well designed in terms of bio against Protoss. For the most part, Vikings counter Colossus, Ghost counter Templar. Late game is arguably tough on Terran, but it's doable. The matchup is, it's okay. Mass Ghost Viking late game against Protoss, Templar Colossus, or whatever. The problem is the early game. It has nothing to do with, Psystorm OP or this OP or that OP. It has nothing to do with the units. It has one player has too many options. Too many options compared to the other player. You got these 4-gate Blink Stalker all-ins, the proxied Oracles. You got you can do a Void Ray all-in. You can proxy a Robo. You can do an Immortal all-in off of a proxied Robo. You can do all of those. You can proxy all those. You can hide your tech buildings. You can hide your Twilight Council. You can put it in your base. On top of that, you can even fake an all-in as a Protoss player and then play extremely greedy. Working because of the metagame of all these one-base all-ins being so fucking powerful. You can do a one-base, you can fake a one-base all-in and then play 2-base macro unpunishable with the Nexus Cannon, which is the other issue. Besides Protoss having way too many fucking openings, the Nexus Cannon allows it so you can't really harass Protoss You guys notice how the Banshee cloak price on the Banshee was reduced in a previous patch? Where are all the Banshees? Did we see anything change in Terran vs. Protoss early game, David Kim? No, we did not. You know why? Nexus Cannon. Nexus Cannon, Nexus Cannon. Nexus Cannon shuts down everything. 1-1-1, Banshee play, medevac play, it just shuts down fucking everything in the first 10 minutes of the game. This is wrong. This does not belong in a competitive RTS game. Something that's so easy, and a pro gamer grandmaster can do it, or a Bronze League player can do it. There's actually zero skill difference in how a player uses the Mothership Core Nexus Cannon. It's simply something so easy and brainless to do that if a pro gamer wants to use it, they click on their Nexus. Now they have the Nexus Cannon and they have an easy defense. If a Bronze player wants to do it, what do? The same exact actions a pro gamer does. They click on their Nexus Cannon, boom, they're defended. Does not belong in a competitive RTS game. Why the fuck is this still in the game? It does not belong in the game whatsoever. That's the first thing. If they're going to keep it in the game like it is right now, it needs to be severely nerfed in some way, whether it's the range of the Nexus Cannon, you know, make it as much as a stalker or something. Like the range, the duration, people, you hear casters say this all the time, and it's quite frustrating to hear as a Terran player or even a spectator to hear, oh, he baited out the Nexus Cannon. Such a good... That's what Terran has to do, guys. If you're having trouble, you just gotta bait out the Nexus Cannon. Now, the problem with that is the Nexus Cannon lasts like a fucking minute. So you bait it out, Protoss is now safe for an entire fucking minute. That is the problem. Now they're safe. Now, the next time you come back, they have more units, bro. That's the problem. It buys way too much time. So nerf the duration, nerf the range, maybe even make it take 150 energy from the Mothership Core so you can't cast two of them right after the other. You know, something there needs to be fixed. It needs to be balanced, because that's one of the issues. Terran is not able to be aggressive against Protoss with the Nexus Cannon. It's just not only that. The greed that the Nexus Cannon allows, it allows Protoss to be extremely greedy with their tech, where previously they would not be able to. You know, now they can go Robo DT Shrine or Blink plus Colossus, or they can just be extremely greedy because they know they have that, you know, they have that easy trump card of, oh, I can click my Nexus and be pretty defended against most anything in the early game, anything. And that's what we're talking about here, the early game. And so here's the next thing, guys. As I was mentioning before, as a Terran player, you're playing with your hand up. Protoss plays completely with their hand down. A lot of times you're just guessing. And now here's the thing. Protoss players are going to say, yeah, that's why you build a Reaper, right? Yes, that is why you build a Reaper. Exactly. Now that's the problem. The only build Terran has that's viable, that lets you get any information at all to fucking scout the Protoss, is the Reaper build. That's why every single game, any Terran worth his salt is doing the Reaper build. Every game. Because there's nothing else that fucking works that lets you also scout and figure out, is this guy one base all-in or is he going two base? Is he playing macro? What tech is he doing after this? Is he going to fly an Oracle into my base? Do I need missiles? So that's the second issue. Terran player is playing 100% with their hand shown before the game even starts. The Protoss player knows he's doing the Reaper build. So I can take advantage of that and do my one base all-in, or I can take advantage of that and just play extremely greedy and fake a one base all-in or something. So that's the other problem. And part of the reason why, guys, Protoss always knows what the Terran is doing these days is, once again, back to this to the actual imbalance, the Mothership Core. It provides high ground vision. The radius, the vision that it provides like 14 radius around itself. So, you guys maybe remember Wings of Liberty Terran versus Protoss. Protoss players used to complain that, oh my god, the Terran player has a wall off. I don't know what he's doing exactly. And that was why the matchup was actually okay for both players. Because the Terran could hide information. The Protoss player didn't 100% of the time know what you were going to do early game. If you walled off with the barracks depot at your wall-in, it kept the Protoss honest. They couldn't be greedy necessarily, or if they were one basing, they didn't know if you're going cloak, they didn't know if you're going, you know, whatever you were doing. But with the Mothership Core breaks that entire aspect of the matchup. Terran cannot hide information behind a wall in anymore. Because if you wall in, that's 2 free depot kills the Protoss will get on you every single game with, 2 Stalkers and a Mothership Core that early in the game. And that is another problem. That's a huge problem. That's why TvP early game is in trouble. You can't hide that info. So these things have to be addressed. They were made worse in the last patch. The proxy oracles became stronger. A build order luck oriented free win build actually became stronger. And in the patch notes or whatever, we actually read David Kim's explanation, and he said that he was fine with that, which is completely wrong. This needs to be fixed. The problem, guys, is Blizzard is not going to fix these issues until people speak up about it and point out how broken they are and that something should be fixed. Because they seem to have huge egos. They wanted Blizzard patching lately is they take like 2-3 months to do the most simplistic changes. Like, for example, the mech changes, baby steps. It took them like 2-3 months to even say like, oh yeah, maybe the tank should be stronger. And then months after that, finally they did something, and it wasn't even a good buff. This 2% tank buff or whatever the fuck it was so negligible. It took them so long to do that. What needs to happen is these things need to come quicker, and they need to revert them quicker. This Oracle buff, everyone, if you look at the Team Liquid thread, there's so many people in the thread that voted that they disapprove of this change, and Blizzard right now has said nothing about it. They're completely ignoring it. They made a fucking mistake. The Oracle buff was a mistake. It should have never gone into the game. Should have never even been thought of. What they should have actually been doing was balancing TvP early game so that it's not so luck oriented for the Terran and not so build order oriented, where Protoss can just dice roll a free win. And this stuff is left unaddressed. So that's what this metagame update is calling out. It's calling out the balance team to actually balance their fucking game, balance the TvP. The amount of options that both players have are way out of whack. And once again, this has nothing to do with any units being imbalanced, force field, Psystorm, or whatever. Has nothing to do with that. It has. It's a problem with the amount of options both players have. One player has too many options. The other player has like one option. And that's just actually wrong and a clear imbalance in the game that should be addressed. So spread the word. Do not shut your mouths. That's what everybody did in fucking Wings of Liberty. Broodlord Infestor was broken as fuck for over a year. Myself and a couple other brave people, every now and then, a couple other brave people would be like, well, this is fucking stupid. There's something wrong with this. It's too cost effective. They should look at this. A couple, every now and then a couple other people will be like, say something, but everybody needs to say something now. Speak now or forever hold your peace until Legacy of the Void, because the way Blizzard's going, they're not going to fix a damn thing until people get in a fucking uproar about this stuff. And, yeah, so anybody, and anybody that says this is a toxic mindset to have about the game is fucking stupid. Call them out on it. Just call them out. Something TvP early game being this build order and pure luck, gambly oriented does not belong in a competitive RTS game. The toxic mindset is not saying anything about this because you're going to be labeled a whiner, and that's what people are going to do. They're not going to say anything about this because they don't want to be labeled a whiner. They don't care. You should care about this game, and you should be passionate about this game, because we want more people to watch StarCraft, and we want more people to keep playing, and we don't want 100% of the player base to become Protoss. It happened with Zerg in Wings of Liberty. After Broodlord Infestor, so many people quit the game or switched to Zerg. Obvious fucking imbalance, left unaddressed. Blizzard had too high of an ego to admit they were wrong until they were forced. Until they were forced. Their hand was forced. Because so many people stopped fucking watching the game. Holy shit. They got their hand forced because people were leaving the game, they were quitting the game, and you guys have to do the same fucking thing here. Press Blizzard on this until they fix it. Do not stop until they fix TvP early game, because otherwise they will not. They're happy to do nothing. Their developers, you got Dustin Browder, David Kim working on Heroes of the Storm now. Their resources are becoming more and more split up. They are either not paying attention, not giving a shit, or they're going too slow on this stuff and they're not working on it. And that's where the community needs to fucking speak up and be like, we got a problem here when one player has 20 options, the other guy has one option. Fix it, please. Do something about it before more people leave the game. Protoss, you know, people play all 3 races, but if you're going to make the game so everybody has to switch to Protoss, not many people are going to want to play the game anymore. So fucking fix it! And that's this metagame update.